So you're in the market to purchase a commercial real estate property. And I get this question asked a lot. What should I be looking for? What should I be looking for when I'm looking at a property to purchase, whether as an investment or for my own business? And you're at the right place. My name is Richard here with SoCal Warehouse. And in this video, I'm going to go over some of the vital points that I look at personally as I'm purchasing a property, but that I also recommend our clients here at SoCal Warehouse to keep in mind when they're purchasing a commercial real estate property. When you're looking to purchase a commercial real estate property, you get the opportunity to really understand the property during your due diligence process. And that's done in escrow. And what I always recommend, whether you're buying the property cash or you're getting a loan, to get a phase one report. This is a very, very critical step. This is essentially guaranteeing that there's no environmental contamination on that property. And why is this important? Well, if you go to sell the property, the buyer, the future buyer, is going to get a phase one. And if it's contaminated, you are dramatically going to lose value in that property. A lender, for example, would want a phase one report, whether to fund a buyer when you want to sell or when you're looking to refinance and pull some capital out of your property. If there is environmental issues, no one is going to touch that property. So you being the buyer of a specific commercial property right now, what you really want to do is make sure there's a phase one. And that phase one, all it is a historical report of any potential contaminations on that property based on what occupants have used that property. If there's any potential or recommendations that there could be environmental issues on that property, contamination, what the environmental company would then recommend is a phase two report. Because that's really when they start drilling into the soil, and that's really when your expenses are really going up. On average, a phase one report you're looking at about $2,500 to $3,500. A phase two report you're looking at about $15,000. So these are fees that you incur up front, but they're worth their weight in gold. You do not want to purchase something with contamination and be stuck with a headache. So you're looking to purchase a commercial property and you want to purchase it as an investment. Well, one thing you really want to know is first and foremost, is it being delivered vacant or is there a tenant in place? And if there's a tenant in place, there's a couple things you want to understand about that tenancy. First and foremost, is there a lease? What type of lease is it? Is it a gross lease, month to month lease? Is it a triple net lease? What expenses are the tenants currently covering? And this is important so that as you model out that property, as you model out that investment, you have as accurate fees and expenses you're going to be incurring on a monthly basis, yearly basis, and also you underwrite for the potential risk of that tenant of that revenue leaving, right? So tenants, when you purchase a property with tenants in place, it's very critical to understand what the previous owner has already committed to because you are essentially inheriting those terms. So as you're looking to purchase a commercial property, you want to understand who's in there and how much are they paying, what are the expenses on the property. Very, very, very clear. You're looking to purchase a commercial property. Do not forsake really understanding the condition of that building. A lot of times I get excited when I look at a deal because it looks like a home run, not realizing that this property is old. It is old. And with old properties comes a lot of deferred maintenance. And that essentially means it has not been kept up with as far as the roof, the sewer lines, the plumbing, the electrical, fascia, so many different components of the building that require maintenance. And if they have not been kept up over a 50, 60, 70 year horizon of time, there's going to be a lot of deferred maintenance. And these are very costly expenses, capital expenditures that a buyer would have to incur after the purchase. So don't just look at that face value as far as the sales price. Look at everything that you would have to inject into that property after you purchase it, not including your down payment, not including your closing costs. So one couple things to look for is the condition of the roof. Roof will always be your biggest expense. To replace a roof is going to be the most costly expense on any property. So you want to make sure that there's if it's a shingle roof, that there's still life on those shingles. If it's a metal roof, you want to make sure that there's no intrusions where water can be coming in. And really, if you could repair the roof, I recommend going for repair, a quicker solution. But if the roof is in a condition where you cannot repair it and it needs to be replaced, you want to make sure that you underwrite for that because the last thing you want is whether you're occupying or you're renting it out, is for that roof to just essentially give up and everything inside of that property gets completely destroyed because of water. Water is not your friend in real estate, I promise you. Another thing to look for during your inspection process is the electrical capacity. You want to know how much power you have there, whether there's a 100 amp, 200 amp, 400 amp panel. And if you need more power, well, you want to make sure that you understand how much it's going to cost you to upgrade that power. And if you can, and what type of permits are going to be required in order for you to do so. So that's a very critical item as well as you underwrite and you do your due diligence on purchasing a commercial property. Plumbing. Plumbing is huge when you're looking to purchase a commercial property. A lot of times, people don't understand that these older pipes get really corroded. Galvanized pipes gets really corroded. So what used to be a 3, 4, 3 inch pipe is now really like a 1 inch pipe. that is just really filled with corrosion in the inside of the pipe. So I recommend that you always get a sewer line inspection, not only just from the property to the city, but all the way into the building, because that's additional footage that you would have to pay for if you were to either replace the line, or what I personally like to do is to coat the line. So put a liner on the existing pipe by descaling the sewer line and shooting a liner and giving you another 50 years on that 50 years on that sewer line. It's a little bit more cost effective and essentially gives you a brand new pipe without having to remove the existing and replace it. But all to say is you want to make sure your plumbing is good. The last thing you want is a backage on your property where there's things that you don't want coming out of your toilet and sinks. So to prevent this, understand the condition of the existing plumbing and what it would cost to upgrade it and get it up to par if it's not already. So you're looking to purchase a commercial property. One thing I always recommend our clients and myself as I'm looking at a property is what is going to be my new tax basis. Okay, let's say you're buying a property for $1 million and it was previously purchased for $500,000. We can expect that property tax basis to double, literally double. Here in LA County, Orange County, our property tax basis is 1.25% you could underwrite. So that's about $12,500 if it were to be $1 million purchase. So if you're looking at a property to invest and you're trying to maximize the return, you want to get the highest cash on cash yield, you have to make sure that you are underwriting for what your current, what the new market, what your new tax base is going to be based on what the price that you purchased it. And what a lot of people don't realize or have been made aware is when you purchase a property, the county will reassess the value of the property based on what you purchased it at or based on what they're valuing it at. And if they're giving it a higher value than what you purchased at, you could appeal that tax, that tax amount. You could literally go through court. I've done this personally with multiple properties that I own, and if you could negotiate a lower tax basis when you purchase that property, well, then you are saving thousands of dollars for as long as you hold that property because it just continues to compound. Tax basis taxes go up yearly, so you want to make sure that you secure the lowest tax base possible, so that you start at the lowest, and then ultimately it's a lower expense, which ultimately increases your return, cash on cash, internal rate of return. Everything goes up as you decrease your expenses, your NOI, your net operating income, which in turn will even give you a higher valuation on the property. You're looking to purchase a commercial property. Well, I tell you one thing: location, location, location still holds true. It is a pivotal decision when you're looking to purchase a commercial property as to understand where it's located and how that location is either going to be a detriment or it's going to increase the value of your property. And really, what I look for if you're looking for retail property, for example, is how close am I to a main road and how easy is that property able to access from that main road? Does somebody need to make a U-turn to get into the parking lot? Is there a parking lot? Is this at the end of the boulevard? Is this in the middle of the boulevard? All of these things are extremely critical when you're looking for commercial property as to where the location is. In the industrial sector, location is actually just as important. You want to make sure that you're not around a lot of residential property where you're going to be getting complaints or your uses in the zoning code per that city is limited because you're within a 150-mile radius of residential. So when you're looking for industrial real estate, you really want to be in a part of the city where there's only industrial real estate, so that you have no barriers for the uses and the type of business you want to operate out of there when you're looking to lease that property or occupy it for yourself. Another thing, for example, like office, you want to be in a corridor where there's a lot of office, there's a lot of business, there's a lot of access to freeways so that employees can come pretty easily and commute easily to the office. These are just a couple of different things you want to keep in mind when you're thinking about location and purchasing commercial real estate, because I promise you, location will either give you a lot of opportunity in the future as it pertains to value, or it'll be a detriment because it's just obsolete space based on what it's zoned for and where it's located. I was currently looking at a property to purchase. This was a commercial real estate property, and I'm recommending anyone who's looking to purchase commercial real estate, either in the future or currently, to keep in mind what the zoning is. Okay. As I was looking at this property, the zoning was a specific zoning, it was an industrial zoning. I did a little bit more homework with the city to find out that they were going to be changing the zoning. Guys, it is critical to know not only what the current zoning is, because it will essentially outline what you can and cannot do at that property, but also if the city has any plans to rezone that property in the future, because that will essentially give you a headache in the future based on what your plan may be. So you want to make sure that you understand what the current zoning is, but more importantly, if there's any plans to change the existing zoning, because it will affect the property based on whether you're looking to lease it or occupy it for your business. And what you don't want to do is go into a property with a plan and have it completely just taken under your feet because of something that you had control over in your due diligence process. So understanding the zoning is very key when you're looking for commercial real estate property. So these are just a couple things that I look for when I'm looking to purchase a commercial real estate property or representing somebody in purchasing a commercial real estate property. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. You can reach out directly at 562-273-9375 or email us at info@socalwarehouse.com. And as always, you're one step away, you're one deal away from changing the rest of your life.